Well, I have a flight to catch, and apparently the immigration is going to be really long, so I've got to go to the airport quite early. And I'm not used to that because I don't have to do check-in and I usually have my boarding pass and I get to go to the airport really quick and easy. But when I came in here, I had to wait 2 hours just queuing to get through the immigration. The immigration itself is always very quick. It's usually like 10 to 30 seconds. The only time immigration took really long for me was when I was leaving Tbilisi to fly to Turkey to go home. And well, the lady clearly has not seen a Singapore passport in her life. And she was just asking me all these questions. She was like, do you have a visa valid for Turkey? And then I think I was going to somewhere in the EU then as well. And she's asking me about EU visas and everything. I'm like, lady, this is the Singapore passport. And, it's the passport that it's the easiest to travel. And well, she clearly doesn't know Singapore, I believe, and never seen a Singapore passport. And I was stuck there for like 10 minutes. And my friend was telling me, because my friend has gone through, and he said the lady was on Wikipedia just searching up about Singapore. So, anyway, because of that, I'm just going to the airport early. The lounge is also open 24 hours, so I could just go early. If everything is easy and smooth sailing, I can just go through immigration and just go to the lounge. Anyway, so I planned to be awake in 2 hours, and I figured, well, if I don't sleep, which is a bad idea, but if I don't sleep, then yeah, maybe I could just be entertained by the internet. And well, I wasn't pretty entertained for the last 30 minutes, just learning about Scottish accent and English accent. And I figured I'm just gonna make a little video to just share my thoughts because I'm coming to some realization of a couple of things. I mean, the first thing that I finally realized is that posh Scottish accent is basically South English accent. It is the same. And I never realized that. But anyway, my ex, his father is Scottish, but they like lived in London for a very good amount of time. Anyway, he sounds completely English, but his side of the father side of the family has is Scottish for many generations, and they all have numbers in their names and stuff. So, um, yeah, when I met him, he sounds so English, and it never occurred to me that he's actually Scottish. Like I know that he's Scottish, but he just sounds so English. So yeah, posh Scottish accent really sounds like South English accent. And also, I'm coming to a realization. We're just listening to the difference between the Scottish and the English accent, and just different actors talking about things. I think I do have certain English preferences, which I don't think is a good thing. I'm just coming to the realization. And number one, and also I would just blame my ex for all of these. Actually, both of my two of the exes that I have are both English, so do have quite a bit of English influence. Um, well, I drink my tea with milk. No sugar, but with milk. It has been a very long time since I've drank black tea without milk. And yeah, since we got together, the past, he just keeps making tea with milk, and we drink tea every morning. And we drink tea after dinner, we drink tea all the time. And so every time we drink tea, he makes tea with milk. Initially, he doesn't make tea with milk because I didn't like milk. And then I started stealing a lot of his tea, and he started to put milk in my tea because he drinks English breakfast and I drink Earl Grey. And since then, it's impossible for me to drink black tea without milk. As a matter of fact, I've also had green tea with milk in China. It's actually not bad. The old me will hate me for saying this because I never ever drank tea with milk. I find that awful until you start dating in English and suddenly you're just drinking tea with milk. The second thing is that if I eat cheese before bed, I'm very, very conscious about that because Well, if you eat cheese before bed, you're going to have funny dreams. And I don't always have funny dreams if I eat cheese before bed, but I do. I'm very, very aware. Every time I'm deciding to say, oh, every time I'm deciding between nothing for dinner or cheese for dinner, if I choose cheese for dinner, I'm mentally prepared for the potential consequence of a very dreamy night, funny dream night, or weird dream night. Never, never really had that. And I would drink milk before sleeping as well. Never had weird dreams. What else? Um, uh, I think that's it because I don't call crisps. I call them chips. And well, for fries, the skinny one they call fries, and the fat one they call chips. So I don't call all long fried potatoes chips. They are I differentiate them between the skinny one being fries and the fat one being chips. But for all the crackers, the potato chips, I call them I call them chips, not crisps. So I don't think I'm that English. What else? Mm, I guess some of the words I use could be a bit English, but I think I'm just also coming to the realization that a lot of the English words I use originated as French words. And it started to change as I started learning French like 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago. Because so you would say flats in the past, but because in French it's appartement, and then I started saying apartments after. And then also I feel like everyone started saying apartments. It was always holidays when I was young, but in it was always vacances in French, and so I started using the word vacation. And I realized that is the American way of saying holiday, not the English way of saying holiday. It's vac vacation versus holiday. And I started using that because when I was learning French, I needed to remember these words. And so I started using them more in English because a lot of English words and French words, or a lot of English words have French origin. So I'm just coming to the realization a couple of months ago, and I am a bit more mindful in using the words because yeah, now I'm like I think I can read a good amount of French, and I don't need to use the English words with French origin in my English. What else? There any other little traits of me that are more that are randomly English? I think that's about it. I Yeah, my only thing is just tea. I'm quite particular about tea. Very particular about tea, as in I hate it when they give me a cup of hot water or pot of hot water and tea in a tea bag. What on earth am I going to do with it? The tea bag needs to be in the pot or in the hot cup of water when you're pouring the boiling water into the cup or teapot. You don't give me a originally hot pot of tea, and then once it's reached my table, it's cooled down, and you give me a separate tea bag in a packet. Just put it in there. Let it stew for 5 minutes, and then return and then give me the cup of tea or the teapot with tea in there. I don't understand. I'm also really annoyed. I just everything about tea. It's really annoyed when people stir the tea really randomly and like plunking. I don't like that. I also hate it when the tea bag is in the tea for too long. Like just take it out. I don't want very so much bitterness in my tea. And also sometimes people like the waitress comes over and said, "Do you want to have more water? Like, do you want a refill?" And I'm like, "Are you giving me a new tea bag? Because I don't want you to refill water in the same tea bag that I've already used." So I'm just a lot more particular about tea these days, or in the last X amount of years. I think that's it. I don't think people like to say I'm quite English, but I don't think so. I think that's it. That those are like the English traits, and some of the words I use, and some of the way I pronounce words like water. But that's it. So, not that English, but definitely more English than 30 years ago.